1 meter away, even that is going to create a different impact how you're going to deliver something.
So Naveen is our chief financial officer. So as it impact the pocket, please tell me again.
When we started off, we were actually
Hi, good evening guys, this is Nishan here from the 10X Group under the production of 10 Cents Production. So today we with that just happened. Yeah, just thought about that, we're discussing on that. Today we have two special guests, our lead trainers, Leon Fernandez aka Xander, follow him on Facebook, Instagram if you have. Still going to get married soon. So.
and our legend, Mr.
Salah, right? So today we wanted to discuss or share our ideas about MCO or no MCO, right? How is it going to impact us? And we are all waiting for Monday to come. Prime Minister Muhyiddin will be doing an announcement. So we want to just discuss and see what sort of impact is it going to give us. So Adam, you want to go ahead first?
I mean, we have to wait obviously for the decision from the government. I guess there will be steps that they will put in or measures that will be taken to probably bring down the number of cases. But it's something that we can't really avoid, So MCO or no MCO, is it going to affect our business? Yes, it will affect our business. Obviously, it will. It affects the whole country. It affects the it affects a taxi driver. It affects a person who is working in a high level position. Everybody is affected in some way this whole MCO. So as a training provider, I guess the impact is rather impactful, I would say, because we are dependent on face-to-face training, where we will meet people and deliver that training face-to-face. So yeah, it will be eventful and less eventful, I guess, in both aspects, where we will be eventfully having to go through this whole MCO process again, and uneventfully not being able to have our face-to-face trainings. So it's a huge impact, in a nutshell.
Cool. So Sarah, how before you joined 10X, right? You were conducting trainings.
Yeah, we were conducting some online trainings. So pre and post MCO online programs, it's not as easy as we are talking right now. So we are conducting you can't get the engagement of the participants. This as a training provider and a trainer, this gives us an impact for your delivery, your course content. So you won't able to touch the core that you want to really highlight on them and gain the attention. So as what Mr. Adam says, MCO is a tough time for everyone.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone, but there is a positive side of it where the digitalization is supposed to take place in next 10 years. We already cut short and make it very. We've been forced to be digitalized.
Right.
And we are coming up with new platforms. Even like with 10X Group, we are coming up with Raja X and all these things. The positive side of it that is, but then the negative side of it is how are we going to market it again?
Right.
To
Starting
market
from scratch.
That's starting back from scratch. Yeah, we can't really go and meet people, and it's already become a new norm that you have to stand 1 meter away. Even that is going to create a different impact how you're going to deliver something.
True. So Naveen is our chief financial officer. So how has it impact my pocket? My monthly salary I can get.
So I think when we started off 10X, we were actually looking into a lot of programs we wanted to go out there and have to have a lot of face-to-face trainings, right? So we were looking at we were targeting about a good revenue for the year. But then since MCO came in place, it was first 2 weeks and then became 4 weeks. Eventually went on the whole year. it was just disrupted, right?
They're leaving
But,
it.
yeah, but definitely government have actually taken initiative to actually put out HRDF Penjana and Percase Penjana and a few other Penjana programs to actually help the businesses that have, to actually sustain. But for us, for newbies, we actually didn't have much of, income support. But I think we are lucky, or we were just, we had a star right above us. We actually managed to sustain and actually still survive for this pandemic. So definitely for this year, whether MCO or not, I feel that my opinion is not to have the MCO. I think to have more restriction control, because either way, if you're going to have another MCO, there are many more other companies in Malaysia that are going to close down. Like whether or not, let it be a newbie company or even, because a newbie, okay, they are unable to sustain, they will close down. How about those big companies where they have huge overheads and they won't be able to actually finance those people, right? So they're going to be more layoffs, companies will close down. At the end of the day, economic is going to go down. So yeah, definitely health is important, but I feel that each of us as individuals in Malaysia should take their own precaution measures and stay safe, and let's stick to that way, and let's have the business all running in Malaysia. So yeah, you can get your pocket filled with money.
Hashtag vote for Naveen for Finance Minister.
Finance
He
Minister guys.
just announced that we shouldn't have an MCO.
Nishan
I like the way we run our own government, But
So, Leon, I mean, it has been an interesting journey.
Yes.
From before MCO, before you met NX, you met Adam, us, and now we are in the transition period. So, share with your experience. How did you find it, and what's your plans for the several coming months?
Well, the previous months before I met you guys and things like that. We were doing online training. We were doing trainings itself already. We were running trainings itself already. Okay. However, then the MCO started. Okay. Something none of us predicted. Something that we were all caught off guard. Okay. And then we managed to maneuver our way through this entire process. Okay. And both me and Sarah faced difficult challenges. Like we had to go online, where like we don't know the students are there, we don't know who's replying us, we don't know what exactly is going on, whether the students are actually absorbing what we are teaching, or the students are actually replying, or their parents are replying. No idea what's going on. But and then we had to use different platforms like what did we use? WebEx, and then YouTube, and then question and answers came from something else, and Google Documents, and we didn't know how to actually collaborate, combine it together, and do the delivery for the next day. And we passed through all of that, and that gave us a little bit of insights on how Ajarex, our new
platform,
new platform, is going to help us. And that actually gave us a revelation on how Ajax is going to actually help us. Okay, so my plan for the next year, for the entire next year, would be like for us to work hand in hand together. We have a couple of things planned out, and I'm excited to see how we go. Whether MCO or not MCO, that's, I think, besides the point. We still need to work. We need to work twice as hard if it was MCO, but work never stops. That's what I think.
True. Fantastic.
I mean, just to pick up from that, like what you said, delivering the training pre or during MCO, we all had all this. You had your Zooms, you had your Microsoft Teams, you had Microsoft what is the other one? Google Meet.
Google Meet.
You do all your training up there, and then you have to deliver your emails. I mean, deliver your notes via emails on a PDF or on a PDX or whatever not. And then you deliver your tests, like we have tests, right? Deliver tests via Google Forms or Microsoft Forms or whatever not. So it's been all over the place. So I think there's one thing that we can kind of take from there. What Ajarex offers is that Ajarex is able to actually make that journey a little bit easier, not only for the trainer, but also for the participants. So I guess the point that why it's so difficult for people to learn online, is the perception, first of all, that we all have. as trainers, we go in and we perceive that it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
That's
You know, because it's very difficult for us.
Yes.
We can't accept how it's being done. Because I've been speaking to many trainers, and the first perception that they give is that, oh, it's very difficult to train online.
Yes.
How am I going to train online? You know, these questions come up. So when it comes up, when those things come up, you have that perception in your head, so you can't deliver as well, and your students or your participants also can feel that from you. So that's why, because of the difficulty that you have, and when you take too much effort to do something, it becomes a struggle for you. So when you have to send your Google Meets, link, you have to email them, you have to remember to send them the test and make a test. Forms and all doesn't have timing or no timer. So the exams become untimed. You have to WhatsApp them, hey, finish the exam now, I'm going to take it offline or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to do all that. So it becomes a lot of effort. So it becomes a lot of effort for you. You cringe, you struggle, you drag your feet to have the training.
Yeah.
Because there's no motivation for you to deliver it seamlessly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we had a conversation yesterday, myself, Navin and Nishan, with education specialist from India. And he brought up an interesting fact that I think we can all learn from. And I guess the people out there also can kind of pick up. If you want to deliver your training, you might want to look at Bloom's taxonomy. On how he has, that concept is being used for training delivery. If you have gone for your TDT, you would have learned about Bloom's taxonomy. We have it here.
You can bring it closer to the camera.
Yeah, I mean, we can put it up online later. So how do you actually make the training or the session interesting for you is, you must have the knowledge, you must have the comprehension, you must have the application, you must have, this is where we lose out, the last three parts is analysis is not there, synthesis is not there, and evaluation is rarely there. It's not done in the best way.
Absolutely.
So the topper part of the pyramid, the bottom half, we mastered it already.
Yes.
Yeah, so now how can we get these three things is what Ajarex does seamlessly, and also what I think a lot of people out there who are watching this video can learn and actually put their input into how they want to make it seamless. That's Adi's wheel.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the first one is Bloom's
Yeah.
taxonomy. We'll upload it later.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
share it with you guys. Yeah.
So I think it's very insightful sharing your experiences, right? For me,
Oh, no one asked you.
sorry.
So yeah,
So I'm self-sustained, so that I can.
Very good, very good.
So I mean, see, post MCO, pre MCO, right? The one thing that I not struggle to understand is the government has come up with a lot of initiatives, HRDF, Panjana programs, a lot of Panjana programs. But now when the Panjana programs are there, and then if in case we are going down for the lockdown or for the MCO, then how can we go about doing face-to-face training, right? So, like you all said, I'm a big advocate of technology and digitalization and all this kind of stuff. But what differently we are trying to do, I think, is the journey map, the learning journey of the particular students. You all have conducted online training with if I'm not mistaken, kids, right?
Yes.
Right. So their learning, understanding, and application part of it is very different from someone who's working, who has experience working. So I think we are trying to come in to bridge that gap. As a startup, it's definitely a lot of struggle. We have been struggling since the time that we have started up the company in terms of how adaptability works. People are not able to get that understanding. Online means it's tough. Online means it's difficult, lazy. They think that the system is too complicated.
Or they think it's awesome, you can just mute and go and sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Off the camera, go and have a
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, or makan.
So I changed my virtual background to my face.
Yeah.
No, the thing is like what Nishan said is even when we are doing face-to-face training, the teaching methodology for every age group is different.
Absolutely.
Like what we was doing for school kids, it were like running on slides, which will never catch their attention.
Correct.
And even 100% running on slides and talking, as an adult, we also will get bored.
Yeah.
So I think this is the gap that was like no one tapped in to identify the gap and how to maneuver on it. Because of this gap, where like what Mr. Adam says is like when we talk to other trainers, they say, oh, online training is tough.
Yeah.
It's because of this gap.
Yeah.
Apart from the technology, you have to use like few platforms, but the other areas that we fail to look into is that the gap of the methodology how we are going to deliver the content.
Absolutely.
So I think
Actually, sorry, to add on to that, actually, to Sarah's point, right? Because it's like this, it's like because we're now being pushed, we were pushed, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this, it's like suddenly one guy who doesn't know how to drive. You suddenly push him on a car, okay, we are on auto, he can just drive. But then he will not understand, or he will not actually be a smooth driver.
Right.
So that is another gap that is there, because we are suddenly pushed to technology. We didn't have the gradual steps to go and master it. That's why, so we're already on that side of the edge.
Yeah.
And now, like, we are moving backwards, you know, like we are now trying to say, like, okay, let me learn to master one by one.
Yeah.
So most of them don't want to do that. They're like, okay, you know what, just give me, I want to know. It's because most of them feel that, why should I waste on this technology? So let me just teach me how to do it, I'll just get it done.
Yeah.
But I believe that now is the time that everyone at home or whoever it is to take one by one step. You may know how to drive now,
Yeah.
but you need to learn how to be a proper driver first.
So
Yeah.
I think adding on to Naveen, I think yesterday we posted a video of a chat that we had some time ago on Dr. Anba talking about the 3 types of learning: the transactional, transmitting, and transformational. Malaysian education system or Asian education system have always focused on transmitting. That means teacher or the trainer just spits out,
Yes.
and the students have no other choice but to just listen, right? Transaction happens. I think in very few schools. I've met personally, a couple of good teachers who have done the transaction part of it. Give and take. Okay, you ask a question, I'll give you the answer, sort of thing. But very, very rarely the transformation happens, right? And I think we as a team that we have formed, we would like to transform that journey, and we want to bridge the technology gap and the holistic gap. How can we merge it together? And I think that's where we will come in, lah.
But I guess it's not that easy. That is in the ideal world,
Correct.
you know.
It's
But there is
not
another
smooth, right?
there's another part that is very ambiguous, is the students,
Yeah.
the participants.
Correct.
So for school children, you're able to control them, and pretty much,
Yeah.
you can make that transformation for them because you have a grasp on them for like 8 hours a day.
Correct.
They are forced to go to school, that kind of thing. You have that ability to manipulate that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to adult learning, and we have this experience the past 3 days, guys. We're calling these people who have registered for this training. These are participants. They want to learn, but unfortunately, they also want an allowance.
Yeah.
They want to be paid to come for the training.
I guess that's
That's a Malaysian thing that we have to stop. Adult
Yes.
learning is about learning and improving yourself.
Yes.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's something that we need to look into, because most of the training companies out there have already made this into a culture.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's something that we need to tap into and say that, hey, you're coming to study lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to improve yourself. You
Yeah.
want to upskill yourself.
Yeah.
So coming in and saying that, and my question to this person or these people was, do you currently have a job? If you're a retrenched individual, I don't think 10X would mind paying them an allowance to come because they're retrenched, they don't have any income. But these people are already working. They're working professionals.
So that's the purpose of upskilling.
Exactly. This mentality also has to change in Malaysia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm being controversial, but yeah, this is a fact.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, this is an issue.
Right.
So, I hope the people who are watching this will kind of rethink this,
Yeah.
They are using this as a marketing strategy, but at the same time, they are spoiling the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think Malaysia on a whole, as an economic level, I know we have had some controversies in the past, right? But I think during this pandemic period, we set out as an example. We managed to bring the cases down, but the government is doing everything. Politically we're unstable right now. Pandemic-wise also, COVID is like, screw everybody else. I'm just going to go ahead and do what I do, right? But the people, and I don't blame them, right? It's either the education system or the people around them have been fed into this kind of ideology. Right? Malaysia boleh, anything boleh, right? We also are struggling in that format. And
I think we can start setting out a set of examples on how actually trainings should be run. we try to put such kind of concepts into people's mind while we're having a training that education is something that it's for yourself, because in this part of the region of the world, right, most of them educate themselves to earn something out of it. It's always USA lah untuk saya apa. It's like that.
Absolutely.
But in the western part of the world, they actually study to gain that knowledge. It's for themselves, to satisfy themselves. I've learned about this, I've done research about this, and I have the knowledge. I write a book, and that's why Western universities around the world are much more well known to the world, because they set an example out there.
Yes.
People come to learn knowledge. So I'm not saying Malaysians don't have it, or very few of them have it. So what we can do is that in our training, that when we're putting it out there, we actually even not only just teach them, but we actually also guide them on how to go about
The journey is very important.
Yeah.
When you want to educate someone, you tell them what's the journey they're going to take, and what is that, the journey after that.
Yes.
I think that's it.
So the participant needs to understand this. We are talking about educating from childhood up to the adult learning. We are talking these ages. Okay, we want to implement something. The first thing first, we say, okay, this thing will only work out if we start early childhood education. Like at this point we need to give them some education. But the idea of it is like they are not really the program itself is not really designed for the participant to understand what am I going to gain from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, this is the general market overview problem that I foresee. Like what we are doing right now with 10X Group, we are trying to set an example. We are trying in a different approach to make sure that the participant understands and gains something by the end of the session.
Sure.
But what is happening currently in market with other, I'm not pinpointing anyone, but what's generally happening in the market is that, if I go for this Panjana program, per day class they're giving me 15. I'm making money.
Yeah.
I'm going for this class, they're giving me free mini IP laptop.
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn all they're doing.
Right.
So
You thinking about it, right?
of
I
course
want to
it's
join that.
Malaysian.
I think some of the training programs may require
Yes.
laptop or
like
tab and stuff
I
like
saw one advertisement on something related with cybercrime. Okay, they are giving out for each participant free IP mini laptop.
Wow.
Okay, but from our point of view, that laptop related back to the topic that they're going to teach
Correct.
about cybercrime. But how many of them is that really, okay, this is something to relate with this, so if I go and I need to utilize this laptop and I need to utilize the knowledge that I get. So who knows, maybe they give you a free demo version of some software for you to use, like maybe like for next 60 days or 30 days, which we can learn something. But most of the participants like, I'm getting a free laptop. It's not about the topic.
Yeah.
Whether it's relevant to you, you're not relevant to you. It's like, not everyone is thinking like that, but end of the day, we are spoiling someone's cake.
Someone
who's
else's,
who's
chance to do
looking
it.
for the chance.
Yeah.
Who really
There
looks
should be a
to us.
qualification for that. If you want to go on this training, then you should be qualified to be in this
Yes.
training.
Yes.
If it's a niche training.
Correct.
If it's an open type of training, everybody can join. The soft skills
That's
or
fine, yeah.
entrepreneurial, those kind of is fine. But like what you're saying, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to pinpoint the company is doing. I'm sure there's only one company doing it. Sorry to them, but yeah, I mean, as an example, I
Yeah.
agree with you. It just doesn't make economic sense, educational sense. It doesn't make sense for us as Malaysians also. So the pandemic, we have a huge budget, 600 million or whatever million that has been allocated for training. Boom is in there. What is the measurement? That's one thing that I think the government is failing to do.
Yes.
Pre MCO and post MCO, with the $600 million that you have spent, what is the growth of the education of the rakyat?
Yeah, what's the ROI and something?
Nothing.
How do we measure that ROI? Because like what you said, people are going in for laptops and handphones and whatever not. So how do you measure? Maybe economically it will be better, I guess, because people will be selling laptops and muda and all that stuff, handphones, so they want to make extra cash. But how do you measure that? So that's where I think we are failing.
Yeah.
We don't know how to measure our success. Our educational growth is not being measured. Right?
Yeah, it's not only supposed to be measured by the government itself, but what I feel is like the training provider,
Absolutely.
they should take the first step initiative, like, okay, I already train you, where are you after 6 months? What have you done?
Correct.
That should be a KPI set by the government or HRDF in Penjana. Okay, this is your KPI.
A lot of trainers are going to hate us, but
We're having an open conversation, right? So yeah, that should be your KPI. You want this project, you want to deliver this training, you need to evaluate what is their performance pre, during, and post.
Yes.
You submit this. I know there's a lot. I mean, we have done Penjana programs. You know what? What you have to fill up and all that stuff. It's not in there. This is not in there. Measurement is not in there. It's only measuring customer service. How good was the training? Do you feel that you were able to gain from this training in whatever not? But how are we measuring the big picture? It's not being measured.
Yeah.
So at the end of this pandemic, all we would have done is got over the pandemic.
That's true.
And the 600 million that we spent on, I'm not sure with the amount, but I'm assuming it's about 500 million plus 100 million, so now 600 million. So what is the benefit for the Rakyat? Are we going to have more cybercrime certified people in Malaysia? Can we open a cybercrime industry
Will
in
that
Malaysia?
boom our economy?
Exactly.
No one is measuring that. No one is like really looking into that.
I mean, we look at, for example, we train 100 people. We look at 20 to 30% ROI. That means 20 or 30% of them practice what you learn in the training. Are we even getting that? I am not sure.
I mean, this is for the people out there. Like, if you are confused, because I think yesterday someone called me and asked, there are so many Penjana programs. I would like to know, what do I do, right? Because there's baking, there's cooking, makeup, you name it, everything is out
You
there.
name it, what
And what industry. But also on the contrary side, there is no one platform, even on HRDS, there is no one platform that tells the list of Penjana programs that is available.
Yeah.
When, what is happening and stuff. And so for those out there, if you have any sort of questions, doubts of which programs you want to take, you can approach any one of us on the 10X group.
Call us on our hotline.
We are more than willing to share that with you all. Like, if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us on our hotline.
We'll put the number on the video, but that's for sure.
And that's about it from us.
Yeah.
I think it was
Thank you guys for joining us.
No worries.
And thank you all of you guys for joining and watching this video.
And please leave your comments below.
Challenges.
Yeah.
Tell us that what we're saying is wrong or you
Yeah.
actually like
Yeah,
it.
Or actually, you can choose on the
Yeah.
next topic also. You guys can choose the next
maybe
topic
you
and
can
talk about
suggest
that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But send your votes in MCO or no MCO. I'm saying no MCO.
I'm saying it's inevitable.
Ishan, somebody has mentioned it. Guys, no MCO.
I'm saying MCO or no MCO, we still work.
We still
Yep.
life has to go on.
Alright.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you
it
very
from us,
much.
guys. Thanks for life.
Thanks for life. Take care.